There is no divine authority. Faith transcends empirical proof. Morality doesn't require...
They tell you the Bible is a book of fairy tales. They tell you it's full of holes, written by primitive men, and riddled with contradictions. They ask, how can the Most High be a God of peace, but also a man of war? How can the scriptures say the Israelites were in the Levant, yet prophesy that they would be sold into Egypt again with ships? The academics, the scholars, the system, they point to these so-called contradictions to convince you the book is flawed, to convince you to put it down. Because if they can make you doubt the book, they can make you forget who you are. But what if I told you there are no contradictions? What if the problem isn't the text, but the way we've been taught to read it? The Most High didn't write a novel. He left us a coded archive, and he gave us the key to decode it in Isaiah 28:10. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line. Ere alito, ander alito. If you think this is just a spiritual lesson, you've already missed it. This cipher is the only reason the map exists. The Bible is a puzzle scattered across 66 books. If you read it like a Western storybook, you will file. If you listen to the theologians who don't have the cipher, it sounds like contradiction. But when you align the precepts, when you take the prophecies of Deuteronomy and connect them to the visions of Revelation, the history of kings, and the laments of Jeremiah, the supposed contradictions disappear. And what's left behind isn't just theology. It's a map. When you line up the geographic coordinates mentioned in the prophecy with the historical records of the dispersion, the Bible stops being a book of stories and starts acting like a GPS for the remnant. The revelation, prophecy, meets cartography. This brings us to the greatest contradiction the world uses to hide the truth. The world tells you the people of the book have been sitting in the Middle East for the last 1,000 years, but the precepts say otherwise. The precepts say the remnant would be scattered to the four corners of the earth, that they would lose their heritage, wear the yoke of iron, and arrive in foreign lands in the hulls of ships. So, if the Bible is true, history and geography must match the prophecy, and they do. They just hid the evidence. They called the book a myth so you wouldn't go looking for the 1747 Emmanuel Bowen map. They highlighted the so-called contradictions so you wouldn't notice. Kingdom of Judah sitting right there on the slave coast of West Africa. But why would the cartographers of the 1700s include a name that modern history books claim didn't exist in Africa? Now, look at what the elite cartographers of the 1700s documented decades before the narrative was scrubbed to hide the true identity of their cargo. When you read precept upon precept, the biblical narrative doesn't contradict the transatlantic slave trade. It perfectly predicts it. They told us we were just African tribesmen with no written history, but the oppressor's own Junelsa logs of ships like the Hannibal dropping anchor in the Caribbean, unloading the royal seed into places like Old Harbor and the parishes of the Americas prove exactly who was on those boats. They didn't capture a myth. They captured a kingdom. The Most High allowed them to document it. He allowed them to keep the receipts. The contradictions were just a smokescreen to keep the royal seed asleep. But the 400 years are up. The cipher is in our hands. We are reading line upon line, and we are finding ourselves on their maps and in their ship logs. This isn't just history, it's a receipt. And the receipts don't match the story we were told. You've seen the map. You've seen the ship logs. Now you have to ask the dangerous question. Who benefits from making sure you never see these two things together? The book isn't broken. Your history isn't lost. It was just waiting for the remnant to wake up and read it right. Check out They Hid This. The Judah Evidence series. Episode 3 goes deeper into the Planté journals. 2. Show you exactly how they attempted to erase the royal bloodline once it hit these shores. Link in the top right corner. Look out for the next video, dropping tomorrow, where we will go over the hidden books of the Bible and the Lost Bible. You don't want to miss the heat we are bringing next. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and join the awakening. We are the remnant archives of the real Jew. See you in the next one, me, Jenna.